Hello everybody, my name is Python and welcome back to another episode here of Minecraft Survival from Python's World. Hope you enjoyed that little intro, me going ahead and doing some odd jobs across the world, a little bit of a harvesting pass, a little bit of a cow breeding pass, and a teeny tiny bit of fishing. There is a reason why I went ahead and bred up these cows, and that is because I need a whole bunch of leather for bundles for a little bit of a something I'm going to be doing later on in today's episode. Before we get to that though, I want to get on top of my paper situation finally. We have easy access to gunpowder via the hostile mob drop farm you can see in the far distance over there, but in terms of paper, no, we don't really have easy access to that. So we're going to get on with an automatic sugarcane farm / paper maker in today's episode to kick things off. And this is the location in which it's going to go. I think I need to do a little bit of landscaping around it because I kind of want to have the sugarcane farm / paper maker sort of embedded into the mountain. And if I was to do that, there's going to be like a whole bunch of area over here where the farm will probably wind up being exposed. So I need to grab myself a whole bunch of landscaping blocks, a whole bunch of redstone related materials, and of course the main article itself. We're going to need ourselves some sugarcane to actually kick things off in our farm. 16? Is that going to be enough? I don't really know, to be honest with you. But yes, welcome back, my friends. I really do hope you're having a fantastic day. A massive thank you for all of your lovely support, kind words, and indeed your patience as of late. I really do appreciate it a ton. Now, remember, my friends, if you do find yourselves enjoying these episodes and you want to continue seeing more, or maybe you just want to support the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you consider dropping a like rating beneath the video. It really helps out a ton, folks. So, let's go to sleep, and then I'm going to grab myself a bunch of resources. Ah, yes. Right. Yeah, we're not going to be able to make a great deal out of this amount of iron now, are we? I'm going to need quite a lot more iron than this because I need to make hoppers, I need to make minecarts, I need to make the crafter itself so we can make the paper automatically. Yeah, turns out a little mining trip might be in order. Also, it turns out I've only got one bit of nether quartz. How have we managed to get down to such an appallingly low amount of resources? Alrighty, time to grab out my wealth machine. Looks like we're going to be going caving. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to stick to sort of the regular stone layers in the hopes that maybe we can find ourselves a ton of iron that way. Failing that, we do seem to have quite a lot of copper and coal around here, which is also quite nice to have. Turns out we have a whopping great surface cave here. This seems like the ideal place to get ourselves lower end resources. I mean, look at it. There's a bunch of iron right here. So, iron and coal. That's what I'm looking for more than anything else. And hey, killing multiple birds with one stone, we're also going ahead and lighting up some caves here, which is pretty useful, especially in terms of increasing the efficiency of our hostile mob drop farm that we made previously. Well, this is an interesting discovery. A literal wall of water. I can only assume that what happened here is maybe I ridded chunks, some new chunks generated, and for whatever reason, one side of it wasn't waterlogged and the other side is. Okay. Oh, no way! Not every day I find myself some regular diamond ore. Hey! Who tried that? Also, we appear to have stumbled across a big old dripstone caves tunnel of epicness here, which is kind of nice, but yeah, no, I want to grab this here diamond ore. I mean, why would I pass this up, eh? Let's grab it in ore form. Maybe we could put it in an eventual rare stuffs museum. Turns out this whopping great cave system is full of goodies, huh? I am loving this. I feel like it's so rare that I go caving just at the normal stone layers. I always feel like I just hightail it towards the deep slate levels because that's where the most valuable, well, valuables are, you know, diamonds and gold and redstone and such. Every now and again, though, you need to get a top up of the basics. You need to get yourself some iron, copper, and coal. What you gotta do to find those three is stick around the top layers of the caves. That is a surprisingly high amount of lapis. Look at it all. Well, if we ever need to grab ourselves a ridiculous ton of copper and we don't fancy dismantling a trial chamber, heading down to this dripstone cave tunnel might be a good shout. Only for any of you guys who don't know, you can get some truly ridiculously sized copper veins in dripstone caves. Ah, very good. So I'm starting to come across areas I've already explored, and I feel like that brings our little mini cave sesh to a nice little close. Hang on a minute, though. Iron, tough. You guys thinking what I'm thinking? I think first of all, I'm going to grab this iron on the ceiling, and then we're going to investigate, hopefully, what is a massive iron vein. Only if it is, then all of our iron woes have literally just been quashed in one fell swoop. Yeah, this is definitely a massive iron vein, ladies and gents. This is amazing. We already had like 3 stacks of iron that I just grabbed from the sort of normal caves, but yeah. Now that we found this, our iron supplies are about to go through the freaking ceiling. Oh, look at it. The creme de la creme of any giant ore vein. It's a resource block. Alrighty, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stacks of iron will keep us going for a fairly decent amount of time. There is, however, quite a lot more of this massive iron vein to be had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of my coordinates here. So future me, if he needs some iron, knows where to go. Oh, hey there, Dallas's cousin. How's it going, buddy? So here we are back at base. A nice little mini half-hour caving session, and we've managed to come out with over 2 stacks of coal, almost a full stack of gold, 8 stacks of iron, and a few little ores here and there. Whoa. Turns out we already had quite a lot of coal ore in our ores chest. And you know what? I think I'm going to fortune mine this coal. Maybe I can repair my smooth boy pickaxe a little bit while I'm at it. And how about this for maximizing productivity? I'm going to mine the coal up at my AFK platform. That way, a whole bunch of mobs should hopefully spawn and drop down the kill chamber in our hostile mob drop farm. When most people ascend above the clouds, they wind up in heaven. But not your boy. I have wound up on top of a massive coal pile. Is this perhaps a sign of what I'm going to receive for Christmas this year? Have I really been that bad? In terms of Minecraft, this really isn't that bad. So, let's get to work. And there we are. So, my Silk Touch pickaxe has a little bit more durability at the very least. So yeah, I think that was a job well done. I dare say there's a bunch of coal that's dropped down to the floor and or on top of the farm. And yep, there it all is. Oh my goodness me, it sounds like absolute Armageddon inside of the hostile mob drop farm though. Right, let's get ourselves down to the bottom. And if I get my smooth boy on my offhand, maybe I can repair my pickaxe even more by doing a little bit of this. Alright, I think we're just about done with the hostile mob drop trap here. Look at all the items we have now. That is a healthy variety of stuff. And same over here as well. Look at it all. Today really has been a super productive episode so far. Do you know what? I am feeling pretty darn accomplished. We do still have a sugarcane farm / paper maker to make those. So let's go ahead and get some iron smelting. And while that's happening, I might just do another little breeding pass with the cows. Yeah, I know this isn't going to be the most efficient way of smelting iron, but unfortunately I need iron in order to be able to make myself more blast furnaces. is. So yeah, this is about the best I can do. Alrighty, quite some time later, all of the iron has been smelted. There should be quite a lot of XP to be had here, so let's see how much further we can repair our tools. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Pretty good again, pretty good again, pretty good again. I think I want to go for a little bit on my shovel here as well. There we are. Not looking too bad. All we need now is some quartz so we can make an observer or two. I think our goal, aside from just getting quartz, is maybe we should try and go for full repairs on all of my tools. Again, trying to maximize our productivity here. That's my shovel done. Now for the remainder of the smooth boy. Wow, that took no time at all. Do you know what? While I'm here and while we have this super easy to access glowstone, I think I'm going to grab me some blocks. Only eventually these are going to be used in the creation of redstone lamps for my heightened walkway around Firefly Falls. At long last, finally, we have all of the resources we need for our sugarcane farm. Let's get this thing started, shall we? Alrighty, folks, so here we are. I've got a pretty large area dug out. Hopefully, it will be big enough to host the automatic sugarcane farm / paper maker that I'll be making. But just to take you through my thinking here, these torches represent where the output chest is and also represents where the front glass walls are going to be. Then we're going to have ourselves the minecart rail with the grass and sugarcane on top of it, and then it's going to be the wall layer, which hosts a bunch of pistons and then a couple of observers, and then we've got this little nook at the top here. This is where the redstone is going to go to activate all of the pistons. Now, it's probably worth noting, I'm sure you figured it out already, but this sugarcane farm will go into the floor a little bit. The visible space you see here is where the actual sugarcane growth areas are going to be, so that means, yeah, there's going to be some gubbins go under here. For example, the layer I'm digging out right now, 2 blocks down, is going to be where the minecart rail is hosted. So, just created myself a couple of crafters. I've got my output chests sorted out. What I need now are a bunch of hoppers. I'm going to go for 8. I think that'd be enough. And then I'm also going to need myself... Wait, hang on a minute. Yeah, I need myself a minecart hopper. Then we're going to whip out all of these here rails and we're going to place them down in a very specific way. But before we do that, let's get the output chest placed down 3 layers down, and then here we're going to add in the crafters. We need to make sure that the front of it is facing into the chests, so the output goes directly into the chest. We're now going to add in a bunch of hoppers so we can always ensure that we're getting the maximum amount of sugarcane go into the crafters. And now is where we start adding in the rails. We're going to have ourselves a detector rail on top of both of the crafters. We're going to have ourselves a detector rail right here, another one right here. This is going to be powered rails, and same goes the other end, and then the rest of it is just going to be a bunch of regular rails like this. Now, believe it or not, we're already there with the minecart rail, so we can place down the minecart hopper, and we can set that to go. And as you can see, it infinitely goes back and forth at maximum speed as a result of doubling up the amount of powered rails on either side. So, with the minecart rails placed down, we can get on with adding in the actual sugarcane growth areas. Behind the layer of grass blocks, we're going to dig out a little bit of a gully here. We're going to add in one water source right there, and the other one on the opposite side. They should meet up perfectly in the middle. Yes, they do. Now we can start adding in the walls. And just to add a little bit of light to this area, I'm adding in some glowstone as well. Next up are the pistons. So let's get these added in real quick like. And then we're going to need ourselves a couple of observers. So let's see if we can go ahead and get those set up real easy like. I've got myself only a couple because, you know, we don't need to go too overkill with it. What I do need to do, however, is get myself back here so we can have the redstone butthole end facing out of the back. So let's go ahead and get these blocks placed back in. We're going to get this piston placed back in, and then we're just gonna go ahead and line a bunch of redstone up at this top back nook here. And believe it or not, in terms of the redstone and inner workings of this thing, we are done. So let's go ahead and get the rest of the wall added in. And now for the main article itself, we've got the sugarcane that can now be planted down. And finally, to hide the inner workings so we can make this thing look good, I'm just going to go ahead and put some upside down stone brick stairs. So yeah, there we are. We've still got access to the output chest, but there is no evidence to suggest that there's anything going on, aside from definitely not the minecart sound. Not at all. Alright, now to dress this thing up a bit. I've got myself a bunch of stone bricks bordering where the glass is going to go, but for the inner part, I'm thinking some dirt. There we are. We now have our pathway connected up to the output chest, which is awesome. And now what we can do is finally get all of the glass added. Needless to say, we're using glass blocks as opposed to panes because panes, of course, have a little bit of a ledge where the sugarcane items can fall onto and therefore not get picked up by the minecart hopper. So yeah, it's always best to use glass blocks in this particular farm. All that's left to do now is to try and landscape around here to the point where this farm is nicely tucked away. Hopefully that shouldn't be too difficult. We've got plenty of dirt and grass, so let me see what I can do. Alright, so here we go. I think I've done a relatively good job of trying to make this look sort of all natural looking. I mean, I dare say if I was to plant a tree or two up here, maybe bone meal the ground a little bit, that should go quite far as to making this look like it was all natural. So, talking of decorations, how about we get on with doing exactly that? Let's kick things off with a good old birch tree, eh? Do a little bit of that, and would you look at that? That's looking very, very nice. There we are with a nice oak tree in the mix. I'm thinking maybe another one of these here birch trees. That's pretty good. And then, yeah, round here, we've still got a little bit to do. This was, of course, my villager breeder. Wait, are there even any villagers still in here? There's one. Okay, so not really much of a villager breeder so much as a bit of a hobble for this poor villager. Oh no. Anyway, we'll gloss over that for now, my friends. Let's get back to Operation Decorate. I think what we're going to do is we're going to add ourselves a combination of the pink petals you see here, and maybe also some wildflowers. Next up, we've got ourselves some good old jungle leaves. I think all I'm going to do is just, like, randomly place these around. Maybe I can add in some hidden lighting behind some of the bushes as well. There's nothing stopping us from hiding some lighting within the trees themselves. And it also works in terms of relocating a log to the bottom so the tree looks fully supported and it isn't perched upon like a dirt block. So, for example, here, if I was to go ahead and get rid of a couple of blocks, place down the glowstone, do a little bit of this, look at that, it's fully supported. Alright, the leaves have been placed down, some of which having glowstone behind them for hidden lighting, and now all we're going to do is go at it with some bone meal, and that should finish off this little area of Firefly Falls. Oh, we've got a little bit of decoration to do underneath as well. Maybe I'm not quite done yet. To add a little bit of realism to this underneath part, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit the floor decorations to leaf litters. I feel like that makes more logical sense. I mean, you know, if you imagine the shade being under here, you know, being shaded by the sun, there's not going to be too much in the way of flowers grow in a shaded spot, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like adding just some leaf litters on the floor might just be the better way to go. Here we are, my friends. I think we're just about done with this farm, and it's nicely integrated into its surroundings, and it's nicely decorated, I think. Yeah. Alright, so we're not a million miles off from having our first sugarcane harvest either. Alrighty, just to make double sure that this is all in working order, I've grabbed myself a bit of sugarcane that had grown. I'm now going to go ahead and place this here. Boop. Alright, let's place that glass back in, and what should happen is a bunch of paper winds up being in this chest. Yeah, look at that. Alright. We've got ourselves some paper. And yeah, occasionally there might be some sugar come through if there doesn't wind up being 3 bits of sugarcane in the crafter at any one time. So yeah, we're getting ourselves 2 resources out of this inadvertently. I tell you what, I'm going to add a little bit of overflow storage as well. So let's add a double chest up here. This one isn't connected to anything. It's just, you know, in case this one down here gets full, I can transfer it to up here. So yeah, as time goes on, we should have ourselves a nicely growing paper supply. Now, my original intention was to go ahead and show you me organizing my Ender Chest Shulker box contents, but unfortunately, I got waylaid by that mini caving trip at the start of the episode. Genuinely, when I started the episode, I didn't know I needed to do that, but honestly, it was a pleasant surprise. I enjoyed doing a little bit of caving. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to push back the Ender Chest Shulker box content part of an episode to a future episode. I actually want to show you me organizing that stuff for once because I've been working so hard off camera trying to maximize the amount of portable storage we have. And yes, it is going to include the usage of bundles and having bundles be in the Shulker boxes. It's like 3 layers of storage at that point. The Ender Chest is storage. Then you got the Shulker box. Then you got some bundles. It's crazy the amount of stuff you can carry now. It really is. So yeah, that is something I'll do in another episode. For now though, I will be wrapping up today's episode with the comment of the day. And I've only just realized today is episode 40, which is awesome. That makes this series the longest Let's Play series I've done in quite some time. And I have no plans on letting up anytime soon. And actually, on a semi-related note, I wanted to answer this comment from Legion Soul, who says, "Thank you, Python, for the new video. Hopefully, the job hunting gets better." Yeah, it's not been going great lately, my friends. If I'm being honest, the big reason why there hasn't been a great deal of content this last week is because I have fully been in trying to get a new job and trying to kickstart a new career mode. But yeah, the interviews that I have attended didn't really result in anything. And I just kind of internally decided at one point, do you know what? I'm tired of people saying no to me. Maybe I should just start saying yes to myself and really try to put the hammer down in terms of trying to get YouTube back up to scratch. So yeah, for example, yesterday there was both a Terraria episode and a Mindcrack Monday stream. Today, we've got Python's World. The other thing that I have done recently, and this might be getting into slightly more personal territory, but I have actually began going to therapy sessions. And as a result, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to decipher what's sort of stopping me from being consistent with my video making. It's definitely something I've gotten worse with over the last few years, and I just kind of want to decipher why that is. I want to try and figure out a way forward. Maybe there's a new routine I could be adapting to or something like that. As you guys know, I am a big advocate for trying to better your mental health. So in my case, going to actual one-on-one, face-to-face therapy sessions, it is honestly helping me, and I can't recommend enough. If you folks have any woes that you just can't seem to shift, if you need to talk to someone about it, there are professionals out there. Please genuinely take it from me, someone who has dealt with mental health issues pretty much all his adult life. If you need help, there is some out there. You need only seek it. And honestly, seeking it is the first big step to recovery. It really is, my friends. But yeah, going back to the YouTube side of things and me saying yes to myself, yes, I will keep YouTube going full time. I want to continue on with my Minecraft Monday streams. I really want to try to push to get my current Terraria series finished. I mean, hey, when I think about it, we've had Minecraft startup relatively recently. That's still relatively fresh. So, you know, as long as I'm keeping on top of that, all should be good. We've also had Vintage Story startup recently with the brand new 1.21 update. And of course, in hopefully not too long an amount of time from now, there will be a certain Terraria 1.4.5 update to come. And I gotta tell you, I'm very much looking forward to it. So, yeah, there's still plenty of fun, fresh things to get on top of, my friends. And that is what I'm going to try my best to do going forwards. While, of course, not forgetting about the old favorites, i.e., this series right here, my bread and butter, the world that I really genuinely am having a lot of fun playing on. Good old Python's world. But yeah, for now, my friends, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you folks have enjoyed today's episode. A nice sort of off-the-cuff mining trip, getting that automatic paper maker set up, and discovering inadvertently that it's also producing sugar. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Today's episode was a nice productive one, so yeah. All is well. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please do be sure to drop a like if you haven't already. And of course, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on my future content. For now though, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks for all of your support and especially your patience. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you folks in the next episode. Bye bye.